So in this video, we'll be going back to the Lectern and its awesome redstone uses. And if you want to learn how the Lectern works, I'll link the original video in the description and, actually remember this time, unlike the combination lock video. So basically, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can make your storage systems cooler with the Lectern. So let's just look at the first one. So the first one's the easiest one out of all of these. So if we just look in this 15-page book, we are on page 12, and we can flip it to whatever page we want. So let's just do it page 9, because why not? We push the button, and if we look into this chest, we will start getting items, and it will stop at 9 items. So now with your 9 items, you can do whatever, and you can just put the rest of them in this hopper and it'll go back into the system. So this could be useful, for like a store or something, if you want like a specific number of items, but this can only go up to 15, like consistently. But I don't know, maybe you can use this for a storage system that like requests number of items or stuff. So it works with multiple different things. So 12, push the button, we get 12 items, and they will start cycling through, and it's relatively fast in my opinion. So there we go, 12 items, and we can put them back in the system. Now the circuit is actually a really simple circuit that I used in my calculators, both of them actually, and it is this pulse multiplier that goes off signal strength. So basically we have this comparator that detects the signal strength of this lectern, and this button pushes this block down, and then this piece of redstone will get the same signal strength of this comparator. So if the signal strength of this redstone is like, for example, 5, this pulse multiplier will give 5 pulses to this dropper, and it will dispense 5 items to this chest. But let's say the signal strength of this redstone is 7. This will give 7 pulses, and 7 items will go through the chest, and yeah, that's basically how it is. Actually, now that I think about it, you can make a really simple adder using this. So I don't know, if you go to page 1, you could push the button, get your 1 item, and then you could do 1 plus 3, and then bam, look at that. Like the easiest adder you've ever seen that only works up to 15. So okay, there we go. That's a really cool application that you're probably never going to use. So let's move on to the next things that you actually might find more useful. So this next thing and the last thing actually are pretty similar in my opinion, but this one is kind of like item specific, and that one is a lot different, which you'll see in a little bit. So if we go into this book, we have 15 pages again, and we have different foods this time. So let's get some fish, because why not? We push the button, we get a nice note block noise, and if we wait in a little while, we just, for some reason, didn't get the note block noise, but we get our fish. Yay! So you can eat the fish or leave it in here if you really want to, and you can go to a different item. So let's get cookies this time. We get our note block thing again. We wait a little bit, and we will get our cookie. There we go. And now we have a cookie. Woo! So this thing also, like, ridiculously simple. So all we have is this selector thing that's based off signal strength that I also showcased in my first Lectern video, and those go into pistons, which push out blocks in front of these observers. So then when you push the button over here, this piston will extend, and it will update all these observers and retract, and it won't, because this is a slab and not a solid block, and all of these observers will get updated and try to power the block, and if there is a block in front of it, it will activate that specific dropper, and that dropper will dispense the item in this hopper line. And now for the last note block chime thingy, I had to do something a bit weird. So we just have a dropper facing downwards, and then once there's an item in there, I'll just show you. So got a fence gate, we put our fence gate in there, it just detects that, plays the note block, and then 2 ticks later it activates the dropper, and guess what, it goes in the chest. So that's basically how this little storage system works. And then if you can return the items, you can just use a regular sorting system, because these are all the chests with all the food items. So okay, enough talking about this disgusting thing, let's move on to that beautiful thing. So I did kind of make a video on this contraption, if you remember my best store ever video. This is basically the exact same thing, but with a lectern, and it is slightly smaller. I can't really tell. So basically, if you remember what it does, great, and if you don't, I'll just show you anyway. So over here, we have our beautiful 15-page book, and we have a bunch of different selections. So we got wood, we have stone, redstone, colors, food, end stuff, nether stuff, crops, rare stuff, water stuff, mob drops, minecart stuff, flowers, lights, and crafting blocks. So let's do flowers, and if we push this button, we have to wait for these 2 lamps to turn on, and that means our item is in our chest. So in a little while, there we go. And now we have our magenta shulker box full of our flowers. Now you can use this as kind of like a storage system for like many items, so you can have stacks of flowers if that's your thing, or you can make a shop, which is what I did with my last version of this, or a mailbox, and you can just like sell things like you would on like an SMP server with diamonds or whatever. And to return it, you put it in this dropper and you push the button, and you have to wait a little bit. So you have to wait for the second observer noise. So I guess we're just gonna sit here until we get it eventually. There we go. So we got the second observer noise, so now we can use it again. So maybe this time we want our crafting blocks and our brand new 1.14 crafting blocks. We push the button, we wait a little while, and we wait for these lamps to turn on. Eventually, come on, please turn on faster. There we go. And now we got our black shulker box with our many different crafting items. We got a crafting table, furnaces, brewing stands, enchantment tables, grindstones, this thing, that thing, all these new things that don't really have uses yet, except for like 2 of them. And we can put them back in this dropper and push the button. And as that's going through the system, let's just describe how this magic redstone works. So again, we're using this beautiful selector thing over here, and you might remember this from my combination lock video with the sand and everything. So we kind of have like a button selector panel with our sand in our our combination lock. So basically all the sand comes up, and whatever repeater is turned on, the signal will go through that block and into one of these droppers. So let's say the 15th one is activated like it is right now. It'll activate this dropper and the item will go into here and stay there. This comparator will activate and this dropper will dispense its item and go through this hopper thing, and it's basically the same thing as my original best store ever video, and it will go into this chest and get detected by these comparators with hopper observers, and these lamps will flicker. And that's basically how the dispensing works. Now how the reset works, like the last store, so because this comparator is still on, this torch is turned off. So that means it is the only hopper that is unlocked, and it is going into that dropper. So then when you reset it, it goes into this little item thing, and that first ticking noise with this little dropper vader, and it goes all the way over here, all the way through the system, and it will go only into the unlocked hopper, which will be this last one. And then a lot of delay later, all of these droppers will be activated, like the top ones. All of this will reset because there's nothing in the top dropper. So yeah, this is my slightly shorter video on Lectern stuff, because Lecterns are cool. Guess what? Next video there won't be Lectern stuff because I'm moving on to another block with redstone uses. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.